Hey guys, Rob from Sticks to the Shore here. Before we go any further, I want to remind you just to like and subscribe to my channel, just so you can get all my new content pushed to your phone when I put new stuff out. Now, let's get to the good part. We were able to sit down recently with Tony Barrios, who is the master blender and owner of Stallone Cigars. And we were able to talk with him, answer a bunch of questions, talk about cutting horses, talk about his cigars, all kinds of stuff. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the interview. Again, this is Sticks at the Shore. Thanks everybody for coming back to Sticks at the Shore. Welcome. Tonight we are graced with the pleasure of having Mr. Tony Barrios join us today from Stallone Cigars. Tony, thanks for coming on, buddy. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Robert, and hello everyone watching the show. We're gonna have a good time.
So, what are you smoking tonight?
I'm smoking one of the samples of a new cigar that is coming for late October this year.
All right.
Yep.
Well, let's not give much. Let's not give too much away until later. That'll come later.
Yeah.
So tonight I'm actually I've been smoking a lot of darker stuff lately. So tonight I have the broadleaf, the Zeno broadleaf.
The Zeno broadleaf.
Yeah, I absolutely love these things. So first, let me just ask you, how'd you become involved with like tobacco? Was it like an accident, or was it more of like a passion, like a family thing?
It's a family tradition. You know, my grandpa started growing tobacco. My grandpa was from Italy, so he used to grow tobacco for Toscano. You know Toscano cigars?
Yeah.
In Italy, yeah. He used to grow tobacco for them. And then Second War, he went to war and he lost everything over there. And then he moved when my mom was like 4 or 5 years old. They moved to Venezuela, where I was born. And then he started all over again, you know, with tobacco in Venezuela.
Yeah.
I'm the third generation, you know, from my family, you know, working with tobacco. And regarding the cigars, we always have like small, you know, factories in Venezuela. Because the market for cigar in Venezuela is pretty small. And he always, you know, had the dream of me having a cigar company. Actually, he passed away when I was 15. And and the name Stallone comes from a few words that he told me, you know, when I was 7 years old. He gave me a horse for the first time, like a birthday gift. And then I could not ride that horse because so wild, you know, he was kind of untamable.
Yeah.
So he used to speak like half words in Italian and half words in Spanish, right? So he didn't have a Spanish fluent. I didn't speak Italian. I only spoke, you know, Spanish. So, you know, one day I get tired of going to the tobacco farm to ride my horse. And then he say always like, the horse is not ready, you cannot ride it. So I say, why you give me a horse I cannot ride? He say, I give you a Stallone. And I say, what does Stallone means? And then he told me a Stallone is a stallion, you know, a horse with balls. They are angry. You know, I should have give you a mirror or a gelding, but I promise you one day you're going to ride a lot of Stallones in your life and you're going to be successful riding horses. So long story short, I started showing cutting horses here in Texas back in 2008. And my very first show here, I made the finals and ended up in 5th place in the world in my class. And since then, I've been, you know, lucky enough to be in, you know, always in the top 5, top 10, in my classes, even in superior classes. So that's where the name comes from. And it's a little background of the family, right? The tobacco. And my passion was always like him, cigars and horses. So that's why
Okay.
I put the fusion together in the brand, right? The
Yeah.
brand. Yeah.
Yeah. So I heard stories that you used to be like a real life cowboy. I talked to a bunch of people and I was like, yo, so what's up with this guy, Tony? And he's like, oh, I was like, it's a cool brand. It's got horses. They're all horses. And so I was like, what does he do? He's like, just ask him about being a cowboy and he will tell you about how he used to be a cowboy.
Yeah, yeah. I ride cutting horses, which is a little complicated sport. In the westerns type of horse sports is one of the most complicated because you have to use a cow horse and separate a cow from the herd, and then
Yeah.
without touching the rein, keeping that cow in the middle. So that needs a lot of horsemanship, a lot of experience, a lot of feel with the horses. And the big shows are with younger horses, and the younger horses, they know less. So the rider needs to be a little bit more developed, in the sport to be able to show them. But
Yeah.
I'm not a real cowboy. I, by far, I'm not a real cowboy. I met people here in Texas and then all over the states that are real
Hmm.
cowboys. Like they live and they breathe into it. This is kind of the passion of my life. But my other passion is cigars, which I use the cutting horse as my hobby and as my passion, as. But being a real cowboy is not just going and showing horses. I mean, I have to go through a process where I have to learn
Yeah.
how to train horses, everything. I have to learn a lot of horsemanship. I have to do a lot of homework with real cowboys, at the
Yeah.
ranches, to be able to at least to show a horse, right? But being a real cowboy, means a lot to me, and I respect
Yeah.
with all my heart, all the cowboys in the U.S. are the best cowboys in the world.
That's amazing. It's so do you still ride horses?
Yeah, yeah. I still ride and I still breed horses. I breed horses here in the U.S. and in Venezuela as well.
Okay. How big's your farm? How many horses do you have right now?
I have 19 horses right now between Venezuela and in the U.S.
Yeah.
Regularly, I breed them in Venezuela because the cost of
Hmm.
maintenance is really, really low compared to the U.S. And then I pick the good horses, the ones that I like the conformation and the attitude and the feel, and bring them to the U.S. and put them in training here. And
Yeah.
sometimes I breed some horses here as well. I have a couple colts right now here
Okay.
in the U.S. that I'm be racing here. But mostly, I raise my horses in Venezuela and then bring it to here. In the future, I'm gonna open a ranch here only for breeding and all those kind of types of related to cattle horses. But I have to have more time.
Yeah.
So because
It's
that's how.
always about it. It's always about having more time, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And where's your ranch at? You said your ranch is in Texas?
yeah. In Weatherford area.
Okay. So where would that be? South Texas?
That's Dallas Fort Worth area.
Yeah.
Okay, Weatherford is right west, 30 minutes from Fort Worth.
Okay. So it's a big, you're in a big area then.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like a 25-minute ride from Weatherford to Fort Worth. Like,
Yeah.
without traffic, and with traffic it's like 30, 35, maybe.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, but Weatherford is the cutting horse capital of the world. All the big trainers, the big cowboys
Yeah.
are there. They have all the ranches there, all the best horses, born there. So, and it's because the main show of cutting horses is here in Forward. Actually, is literally 10 minutes from my warehouse. I'm at the warehouse right now.
Okay.
I have the, you know, it's called the Will Rogers Memorial Coliseum. You know, since
Okay.
1946, you know, all the big shows have been held there. So I'm very happy, at least, you know, when I'm working here, to know that I'm close to the arena.
Yeah.
And yeah,
That's
that give me,
amazing.
that give me like thrills, you know, that I'm close to everything that I like right now.
Yeah. So you said your grandfather had a lot to do with you know, creation of the brand and your love of horses. Tell us a little about tell us a little bit about him.
Well, really, he didn't create the brand, but he encouraged me to you know, to create a cigar brand, right? So
Yeah.
my very first cigar, I was 15. You know,
Wow.
15 years old for an Italian old school guy that went to war, that he,
Hmm.
you know, at the age of 15, he already had a military training, like training, and he already know how to, you know, how to shoot, you know, how everything prepared for war,
Hmm.
you know. So in their mind, you know, the old school guys like my grandpa, you know, a 15-year-old
Yeah.
a kid was a 15-year-old young man, you know what I mean? So
Hmm.
he he rolled a cigar in front of me at the tobacco farm, and he gave it
Okay.
to me, and I just saw it and I gave it back to him. And then he said, "No, this is for you." I said, "I can't smoke," you know.
Okay.
My father, you know, it was very kind of restricted that way. Like if you smoke or drink, you know, I'll cut your head off, you know. So and this is my grandpa from my mother's side, right?
Okay.
Oh, and I told him I cannot smoke because my father will kill me. And he say,
Mhm.
"I'm the boss of the family. You do what I say you do, and I'll talk to your father later." So I say, "Okay, I don't have any more choice." So I try that cigar, start puffing, you know, fast, and he say, "Slow down, you know, don't do that, don't do this." But the short story, you know, is I got like red, purple, green, you know, I felt like boss all the way. He gave me water. He already had the water with sugar prepared for
Mhm.
me. And all that he was he wanted to look my first cigar because he was dying and he didn't let me know. So he
Yeah.
passed away 3 months after that experience, you know, it's up. I remember with a lot of emotions, and I
Hmm.
thanks God that he made me like that cigar, because my first cigar in front of him has a lot of value for me, you know.
Yeah.
And
Of
that day
course.
he told me that day, I wish you someday you create a wonderful cigar brand, because we used to produce tobacco for the cigarette industry, Burley and
Okay.
Virginia varieties for
Yeah.
VAT. So, but you know, he was uh, a guy that have a lot of perspective and look into the future deep, and he saw a lot
Hmm.
of things that could be wrong with the cigar industry, and he was
Yeah.
right, right? Because you know, I planted, you know, tobacco for 25 years myself in
Hmm.
Venezuela, and then you know the prices keep kind of lowering on us, on the farmers,
Yeah.
and they were increasing the cigarette package, so you know the business was not good anymore.
Yeah.
That's when I start, you know, I found Stallone Cigars back in 2014, and I put everything about his soul, his energy, his dream, and minds fused in this concept, in this brand, in this, you know, because at the end, you know, I don't think I'm selling cigar. I'm selling, I'm sharing and selling experiences, right?
Yeah.
And blending cigars is one of my deepest passion. You know, it's
Hmm.
something I do over and over, even if I don't need a new blend, you know, I just like to try and create new flavors. So, you know, it's been a blessing to be um around tobacco, you know, and having that background that support me, with
Yeah.
some knowledge and experience, because it's not possible to have a, you know, to have a cigar brand and not knowing anything about tobacco and don't have a background in tobacco is, you know, it's achievable, but it's a lot of hard. You know, it's way harder than if you know, you know, a little bit at least, you know, because this
Yeah.
business is complex.
Yeah. It's amazing because, you know, when you were talking before about how like you remember that time smoking cigars with your grandfather, you know, one of the things, you know, I really didn't start to actually appreciate and enjoy cigars until my father passed away. And my father passed away right before COVID happened.
Oh,
And
I'm sorry, brother.
and thank you. And you know, before, you know, a couple years before that, he had to stop smoking cigars because he had had a heart attack, and the doctor was like, "Yeah, you got to cut out the cigars
Yeah.
from your life." And unfortunately, I was not able to enjoy a cigar with my father. But you know, it's those memories that, you know, that kind of carry us through. You know, with being able to share it with your father, your grandfather. You know, those, you know, tight knit bonds that cigars can bring people together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Definitely I understand you. And I'm gonna, you know, maybe this is not gonna help you a lot, but it's an experience that I never talk about this, never in an interview before. But you know, I love my dad. You know,
Hmm.
bone. You know, I'm 90% of who I am is because of him. He was a very disciplined man, a very, you know, straightforward, like, you know,
Yeah.
put a lot of good things on me, you know, when I was young, uh, and he don't smoke cigars. You know,
Hmm.
he jog, he runs, he got a different lifestyle than mine.
Of course.
But
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, he likes my business and everything, but he don't smoke cigars. So me not be able to share my deepest
Hmm.
passion with my father is kind of a, you know, an everyday like, oh wow, I wish my father can, you know, he had puff a couple of times a cigar and that's it. You know, he
Yeah.
don't smoke, he don't drink, you know, so but you know, he understand my passion for it and my deep connection with my grandpa, because when I was little, you know, I rather have more time with my grandpa, with my own parents. I was
Hmm.
very close with him, right? But you know, that's really um a kind of sad part for me, you know, that my dad
Yeah.
I love that much and I respect him a lot. He don't share the same passion with me.
Yeah. So your grandfather, you said, did he come from Italy?
Yes, sir. Yeah, he
What
was
part of
born
Italy
in
is he from?
Abruzzo State,
Okay.
Provincia
So
di
that's
Chieti.
that's like southern Italy, right? Southern, more southern.
No, that's Middle East Italy,
Okay.
like 2 hours on east of Rome.
And you born in the States, or were you born in Italy and then came over with your family?
No, I was born in Venezuela. My
Venezuela.
mother left Italy when she was 5
Okay.
with my grandpa and my grandma, and then you know, I was born in Venezuela. My father was born in Venezuela, and
Okay.
married my mother, and I'm the oldest one, and I have 2 sisters.
Okay. Now, are they involved at all with the tobacco industry, or is it just you?
No, no, actually, my mom, who is, uh, I carry the tobacco genes in my mother's
Mm,
side, but my
okay.
mom, she's a doctor and scientist, and she never wanted to be farming. So, I'm the one that continue the legacy of my grandpa, and uh,
Yeah.
and my both sisters, they do their own thing, So I'm by
Hmm.
myself in this passion.
So, one of the things I found interesting, I did a little research. You know, I always like to do some research on who I'm, you know, interviewing and
Yeah,
the
makes sense.
product. And like I said, you sent me a bunch of cigars, and I got to smoke a bunch, and I'm absolutely enjoying the heck out of all your sticks right now.
Thank.
Um, Now it's funny because one of my other favorite brands, uh, is rolling, I believe, your product. Now tell me where you're getting your product from. Where's your your factory? Like, where's your factory at?
The factory is in Esteli, Nicaragua.
Okay.
And I source tobacco from Maganorsa. I get
Okay.
all the Corojo seeds from Maganorsa. I
Okay.
get all the Criollos from AJ Fernandez, and I get
Okay.
all the Habanos from the the Oliva original Oliva family, right?
Okay.
Not the actual owner of Oliva. He's not the founder, right? So
Yeah.
that's what I source. Mainly my tobacco. I source tobacco from other places as well, and I start growing tobacco last year in Nicaragua.
Okay.
And
Okay.
but I buy. I always have like 5 year worth of production to be able to age those tobacco bales.
Yeah.
Uh, I age the tobacco approximately 4 to 5 years, depending on which type of leaf, you're right. Some
Yeah.
some kind of leaf I want them older, some kind of leaf I want them a little younger. Depends on the blending, because aging tobacco is not the same as distillate. People confuse.
Yeah.
The tobacco has a curve. When
Yeah.
you pass certain amount of time, you start losing flavor and power, right?
Yeah.
So there's a sweet spot, a curve, a sweet spot where I use in the aging process, and then after roll it, I age
Yeah.
it for 12 months, depending on the blend. The one that you're smoking right now, that
Yeah.
ages about 14 to 15 months in the aging room after roll it.
Yeah. You
And
can really taste the aging on it though.
yeah, you can feel the aging, because
Mm-hmm.
if I give you that cigar right after roll it, that will be a super bomb. Like,
Oh
like
yeah.
I mean, too strong. That
Yeah.
cigar has 3 ligeros and 2 visos, no sec,
Whew.
the filler.
Yeah.
But the aging process, 5 year old tobacco plus 15 months in the aging room, settle it down,
Yeah.
comes a little bit the strength, but some flavor are able to pop out nicer, and it's a smoother experience. Because by the end of the road, I'm not in the business for who put the strongest cigars. And sometimes there's a
Mm-hmm.
bit of competition out there. I'm when I blend a cigar, I look for balance, flavor,
Mm-hmm.
complexity, aromas, strength, everything, we have to take in consideration. But the first thing that I look in a cigar when I
Yeah.
blend, the blending process, is flavor and balance and complexity. All those three things. And obviously combustion, everything has to be in place.
Yeah.
Construction, the draw has to be right for, each blend had to have a little different draw on it. It's
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more kind of deep technical, but but um, you know, it's what I love to do.
Yeah. So right now, like I've been looking on your website, and you have a really broad lineup. You have, I would probably say, what, 10 different types of cigars right now at this point?
We have at this point 9 facings.
9 facings.
Yeah, some facing has different vitolas.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so for example, the one that you're smoking, we have in Robusto, we
yeah.
have Toro and Gordo, right? And for example, the Mustangs, they comes in Short Toro and Rothschild. But
Yeah,
by brand, I have like 9 brands in the market right now.
yeah,
What I'm doing is I'm releasing, special limited edition in small quantity, not because I just put a label on any blend. Is when I consider that I have a very special blend in tobacco that is hard to find for me again, or has been
yeah.
a little extra and have that extra,
Hmm.
nuances. That's
Yeah,
what I look for, a limited edition label for my cigars.
yeah. So right now you have like, if I'm correct, let me see if I can remember. You have a broadleaf, which I'm smoking now.
Yeah.
You have a San Andres.
Yes, sir.
You have the Palomino, which is the Connecticut.
Connecticut.
You have
Habano
Habano.
from Ecuador. Yeah.
Um, Then you also have the
Corojo,
Mustangs. There's a Corojo. Yeah.
that Corojo, and the Maduro, which is the only Nicaraguan puro.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Maduro, the I had to change the name to Tostado. The name that I
Okay.
used before was the Azabache, but I changed the name to Tostado.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
why was that? Was that due to, a copyright issue?
No, it was due to another cigar brand owner that he used that name for his cigar. And
Gotcha.
he approached me, it's not a registrable word, Azabache.
Yeah.
It's like a Azabache is like a fossil wood that is like
Yeah.
darker in color. So
Okay.
you cannot register the word Azabache, you cannot register the word Maduro or the word Habano or the word Corojo. But
Yeah.
just to avoid conflict, I changed the name, right?
Of course. Yeah.
And Tostado is kind of more likely. I mean, I like it better than the
Yeah.
Azabache, and it's better for the English pronunciation, maybe
Hmm.
easier.
Yeah.
It's
So
like toast.
one of my like two of my favorites right now. So I'm a big dark smoker. So I like the darker stuff. So,
Yeah.
I smoke a lot of Foundation. I smoke a lot of Steve Saka stuff. So like my two favorites right now are the Broadleaf and the Clydesdale, which it's kind of cool. So, I did notice you pattern your cigars after these horses. Like if you think about a Clydesdale is a giant horse.
Mhm.
He's got these big shaggy
Good.
hoofs,
Yeah.
and it's got so the Clydesdale is a 6x60 Gordo. That's the only size it comes in, correct?
Yeah, 6.5 by 60, and has like an inch of non-wrapper, which is
Yeah,
the
the shaggy
shag
foot.
foot.
Yeah, the
The,
shag foot, the brush foot.
yeah, the
And
brush foot.
I actually think it's really pretty cool. When I smoked the Clydesdale, it was like you get that shag foot, and it kind of like it
Like
has
raw.
like a dampening flavor, but once
Yeah,
you hit that wrapper, it brings those flavors like into sharpness, like into
exactly.
focus. And
Exactly.
it's one of the most interesting cigars I've been getting into recently are the Shaggy Foots, just because of that. Because there's a number of brands that have the Shaggy Foots now, and I've just been running into them, just kind of doing research for other companies. But it's really an interesting thing to smoke the Clydesdale. It was cool. I smoked it last night, and I was like, wow, this is really good. I love it when you hit that wrapper, that it just kind of like brings everything
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, that was the main reason for me to put that cigar in the market. Really
Hmm.
started with as a limited edition, um, because the wrapper that I use for that cigar is Nicaraguan broadleaf. It's not gonna,
Okay. Oh wow. Okay.
it's different. But then I found out more, and I
Hmm.
bought a lot of that wrapper, and
Hmm.
and then I release it like a regular production. But my main goal in that cigar is when you light all those fillers that are has been aged for 5 years, and,
Hmm.
and that cigar is full of ligeros and viso. It doesn't have any secos inside. So when you light that, you feel the rawness, you feel the flavor of those fillers, that if you smoke the fillers by itself of
Hmm.
some, I don't want to talk about any other company, but in some company that you try the tobacco inside
Yeah.
and it's not finished. You know what I mean? So what
Yeah.
I want to expose to the customers is try or raw
Yeah.
fillers and feel the quality and the age in there.
Yeah.
It's not balanced, but once you hit the wrapper, everything falls into balance and you can enjoy a very transitional flavor
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, that's like I said, exactly what I was saying, where once you hit that wrapper, it kind of like brings everything into, like, I would say, focus,
Yeah.
and kind of you get that nice transition between the shag foot and
Yeah.
the with the combination with the wrapper leaf.
Yeah.
Now, if you do you have a favorite tobacco that you like to work with? Like if you say, like, I'm gonna base my next cigar off of X type, like, do you have a favorite type of tobacco you like to use?
Yes, I always been a Corojo fan. Corojo
Okay.
for me is is a richer, complex, more, more nuances, more, I mean, I just love Corojo, and I respect, everybody else that blend cigar. There's a lot
Yeah,
of, big guys in the industry. They love Criollo. There's a lot of
yeah,
guys that love Havano. I love them as well. I like, all the tobacco seeds that we use, right? But if you put me in and say me, I choose only one, I'll choose a Corojo. Corojo is,
okay,
it's kind of my seat, right? So all my cigar they have at least one single leaf of Corojo. Some of them have more, right?
wow, okay. Well, that's a cool thing.
All my
I
cigar
didn't
have
realize.
Corojo leaves. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Now, what do you? How often do you smoke? Like when you're test blending, like how often will you smoke your test blends? Like how often do you test new cigars out? Will you let them age like every 2 months, pull it out of the ager, and then smoke them, see where they're at, put them back for another 3 months, 6 months, pull them back out again?
It's a long process, right? When I'm blending a cigar for the market, it takes me years. I mean,
Yeah.
it takes me at least 1 year
Okay.
because I want to see how it's evolving. But my regular process, let's say my everyday process in blending, I smoke those cigars right after rolling. I roll the blend myself.
Yeah.
If I'm in the US, if I'm at the factory, I call my top best rollers and put them to make all the blends for me to have a
Yeah.
better construction. I can roll a cigar, but I do not roll a perfect cigar like
Yeah.
they do, right? So
Yeah.
I like to smoke them, right off to the table and see how
Hmm.
they taste, and because I've been doing this for many years, I already know how it's going, and approximately like I might always like 80% accurate on how it's going to end up cigar after a certain amount of time, right? So
Yeah.
when for example, if you smoke that cigar fresh out of the table, the one that you're smoking now, you will
Yeah.
feel in Nicaragua, you will feel like if you do the retro, it's gonna put
Hmm.
your water eyes.
Yeah.
But after the aging process, everything smooths out, and but that's a regular process. I like to smoke them right off the table, then I smoke them 3 months after, then I give another 3 months more, and so it's like every 3 months I like to try them and see how they are evolving, right?
Yeah.
So if I like a cigar really, really a lot when it's fresh,
Hmm.
it doesn't matter if it's too strong at the moment because I know that will settle up. I will make big quantity of that cigar and put it in the aging room and try every 3 months, and then I take the decision to release to the market that particular blend.
It's almost like it's like science, honestly. Like it's cool when I hear blenders talk about putting their cigars together because it really does take it's like mad science. You have like a dash of this, and it's what made you get into like more blending than anything else? Because I know not all owners are blenders. You know what I mean? I've done interviews with other owners that they said, I have a blender that works for me, and my blender does this, and I kind of give him what I want to see, and then he'll come up with something, and then I smoke it, and then and then they go from there. But you like to really have your hands
Yeah,
into the
every
blending
corner,
process.
in every corner of the business, I like to put my hands on. Uh, that's maybe a bad thing because it's hard for me to delegate something. I have a wonderful team in Nicaragua, a wonderful
Yeah,
team. You know,
yeah.
at Las Villas Cigars,
Hmm.
my friend Guillermo Pena, he was roller 25 years
Hmm.
in Cuba, so he has a lot of
Wow.
experience as a roller, right?
Hmm.
So and so and he brought his brother-in-law that had 20 years rolling cigars in Cuba, and his name is Carlos, and Carlos is our galera supervisor.
Hmm.
He as well, he checked my production, every time,
Yeah.
well, I'm not there in the Nicaragua. So I
Yeah.
rely on them because they're very, very professional, very good. And one the best thing is they respect exactly the blend and the flavors that I want, right?
Yeah.
It's really hard to find when you open a cigar brand, and you approach a big factory, it's hard
Yeah.
to let them know I want to do this blend because they're gonna say you don't know better than me, that I have X amount of years in the market and this is what
Hmm.
I do, this is better than that, whatever. Um, so, but the good thing is, I have that team, and I have also Ernesto. Ernesto is a Nicaraguan guy that he has, I think, the more precise palate in the world that I ever know. I mean,
Okay.
he tastes every single leaf of my blends, and he know exactly at the point that I like those leaves to be used and to roll the cigars. I spent
Hmm.
time with him a lot, smoking and smoking a lot my blends with him. So he understood my palate, and then he's the guy in charge of trying every leaf of the bells before putting in the tobacco in the tables. So
Yeah.
that's only a small part, and the rollers. I have great rollers at the factory. Very talented people,
Yeah.
Nicaraguan people. Very talented with 10 years of experience or more. Uh,
Hmm.
and it's a product of a whole team. It's not,
Yeah.
the rewards are not for myself. The rewards are for the whole team that
Yeah.
I've been able to find and to put together to work. And uh and you know and and that's the most important thing, because if you don't have qualified people, you can be the best blender in the world, but then you have to move to the factory and live out there in order to
Yeah.
take care of every single detail, so you don't have the mind and the time to develop the brand, right? When you're in the
Yeah.
early stages, when you're in more advanced stages, that the cigars go like massive, like
Yeah.
more the brands grow bigger, then we have
Yeah.
more time to spend at the factory supervising a lot of stuff. But I'm really trusty, worthy, and grateful for the team that I have.
Yeah.
And all the person that I didn't mention by their names, but they know who they are. They are. We have to get a great. Um, I mean, I have to give them, a lot of credit for
Yeah.
the wonderful job that they do.
Well, and it really shows. Like, I look at the construction, and the construction is amazing. And they just look really nice. Like, and they're not perfect, which they don't have to be. Cigars are, of course, they're all going to be different. But you have some. Your team is amazing. Um, because out of what I've smoked, I've had zero issues with any of the cigars that I've smoked, and it just really shows that they put the time and the love and the passion into making them and making such a great product.
Thank you so much, brother. And one of the other things that I do
Hmm.
is, when you have sorry, let me clear water. When you have experienced rollers that they have like 10, 15, 20 years rolling cigars, they
Yeah.
want to make it so fast, right?
Yeah.
So what I do is, all the rollers of Stallone, they have to have at least 10 years of experience, but I only uh, make them to do 150 cigars a day.
Okay.
A roller can do 300 cigars a day
Of course.
with
Yeah.
triple cap, or maybe
Yeah.
400 cigars a day, regular cap, not triple cap.
Yeah.
But I only make them do 150, slow them down, and I have less percentage of reject cigars. So that dropped me from 10% when I was doing 300 a day per roller to only 3%. So I'm saving a lot of money in the tobacco. Where I put the most money in my brand is in the tobacco, right?
Yeah.
So, rejecting a cigar is not only the cost of the cigar, it's the cost of finding that particular tobacco and age it for 4 to 5 years again. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
of course.
that helped me a lot, having a better quality construction. And thanks God, knocking on wood, I didn't have any issues so far with a construction problem, any draw problems, and I think, I set up this business thinking as a customer. If I'm a cigar smoker, like I am, I smoke all the brands out there, and I usually keep doing it, right? To see, other blenders, it's part of being a blender. You have to try everybody else, right?
Yeah.
So you expand your conscious and some different flavor you can like about other blenders.
Yeah.
So what I actually do besides that is I try to, when I try a blend, I try to smoke it in empty palate in the morning, my first cigar. And I don't want to have like a breakfast before, nothing, just just, any kind of fruit can disturb a little bit. I already know, I can eat a hamburger and have a cigar after, and I know what's happening, what's coming from the hamburger and what's coming from the cigar, right? But I want to be more precise when I'm selecting a blend. So, and that have helped me a lot, because I've been smoking, a lot of cigars from everybody else since I started smoking really at the age of 18. That was my, when I started smoking, and then I started smoking like heavily, like a lot from when I was 20 years old. So it's a process, right? It's more about to experience and knowledge of tobacco than science itself, because it's what I tell about knowledge about tobacco is sometimes you love three particular tobacco leaf, you love them three, and you put them together and they don't work together. Sometimes it happened to me, like I got three different seeds from three different part of the country, or from two different countries, whatever, and then I put them together, and I don't feel that, right? So sometimes you gotta use a little bit. It's like cooking, right? Sometimes
of course,
you use a little bit of spicy, and people might not like spicy, but when you put that little spice on with other kind of flavors on top, you get the result that you want.
Now, do you have a favorite blender that you like to go to and kind of see what they're doing?
Yeah, definitely Nicolas Melillo is my good friend, and I respect him a lot. I love his cigar, Foundation Cigar. I think it's a great company, a great concept. It's a great guy, very humble, very great guy. And I'm very happy for him that he's, growing and growing every year. And I like to try his blends always. There's many people in the industry that I respect, highly, and I love to try. But, talking about boutique companies, I think Nicolas is kind of one of the guys that I'll always look after.
Now, what do you think sets you apart from other brands when you say this is what I want to do in the market? Like, what sets you apart? Like, what makes you stand out?
Well, that was part of the conversation I was having before, that I kind of lost it in the way. When I set up this business as a customer, right? So what do I want to get? The best quality tobacco and flavor possible for the less money I can spend. So what really sets Stallone apart other brands is the price quality relationship in our cigars is hard to find. I'm not saying we're the best cigars by far. No, there's plenty of great cigars, but
Yeah.
the money you pay for the quality of tobacco and blends you get,
Hmm.
you know, all those cigars, they're average, $9, $10, let's say, okay.
Yeah.
But the real price, the real value of those cigars are $12 to $15. The experience that they give it to you, based on all the cigars I smoke and the price market, and the market prices, sorry, for the cigars out there. Like I find, a lot of great cigars from $13 to $15, and I find,
Yeah.
sometimes a cigar that I don't like that cost me $100.
Yeah.
That so it's the price quality relationship this day doesn't go by the hand.
Yeah.
So what my mission was to create the best experience possible for the less money that I mean the best money can buy is my ultimate goal. So that's what I think set us apart as a cigar brand.
Yeah. Well, it really shows, like I said, it's right in that sweet spot. Like you were saying, like between $9 and $15 right now for me as a consumer,
Mhm.
who, sits here and spends my hard-earned money to, find good product for, something that is not going to break the bank account. Like I said, I've smoked $100 cigars, $200 cigars, and they're not always going to be the best.
Yeah.
So I know you've done collaborations. You said, and I know you've worked with some people because I just tried one of your other cigars, who I'm going to be interviewing in a couple of weeks. But you've worked with the Cigar Clowns. They just came out with the Rodeo Clown,
Yep.
which you have been blending, which
Yep.
you blended for them, and they used your blend for their Rodeo Clown.
Yep.
Um, and that was absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's such an interesting, amazing cigar, especially in a Habano wrapper.
It's a
Was it
Sumatra wrapper.
Sumatra? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right, Sumatra wrapper. And you've also worked with Oakland tobacconist with
Yes.
Eric at Oakland.
Yep.
You guys did a 5-year anniversary cigar for them,
Yep.
and they're amazing. So those are kind of like two of the collaborations that I know of. Are there any other companies that you want to work with out there, like that you're looking forward to working with or would love to work with that you haven't gotten a chance to work with yet?
Yeah, there's plenty of company I would like to work with and do a collaboration. One of the company the first company I did cigar as a collaboration was for Privada Cigar Club
Okay.
brand
Yeah.
design. And all the cigars that I've been making for them, I'm very thankful, with Brian, because he trusts me when I early start here in the
Yeah.
U.S. back in 2020, and
Yeah.
he tried all my cigars, and based on his experience when he tried the cigar, he asked me for a special blend, and he didn't request anything particular. He's very picky, and I say,
Mhm.
hey, Brian, how I don't know what you want. Let me know what you want. And he say, brother, do something that you love, and I'm sure that I'm gonna love it. I trust you. So
Mhm.
I put together a very nice blend with a San Andres wrapper, and that was the Exclusivo Privada from
Mhm.
Cigar. It was a total hit, from day number one. And then I've been doing a lot of collaboration with Brian, and as well as the guys you mentioned. The clowns are kind of my brothers. I love them. They're great
Mhm.
people as well. Eric, is a fantastic guy. I love him as well. I feel like they're all my family, and I do my best always to please them, or
Yeah.
maybe over please them. I'm always looking higher. I was looking to the top of the ladder. How can I do it this better? I don't care if they want, like, a Ford car and I can do a Ferrari for them, I try
Yeah.
to I try to aim for the Ferrari. Maybe I ended up doing a BMW or a Mercedes, but I think it's more than that they asked for. You know what I mean? So I'm really about giving. You know, giving people value, not only making cigars and think about a quick buck. You know, because at the end of the road, uh, I have to take care of them because the way I am, I'm very straightforward guy.
Yeah.
I like to give my best always, and I know if they have success, I have success with them as well.
Yeah.
So it's when I see a lot of things behind the scenes in this industry, that you see some cigar makers, they produce a blend for a particular brand and then they change the blend, degrading it, that's the knife against themselves, because if you don't support your customers, you're
Yeah.
done. You're
Of
done.
course, because we're the one that's we're the one that's buying them.
Yeah, and the good thing about Eric, Cigar Clowns, and Brian, that they're very picky. They're always looking for something special, something unique, something like top shelf. So I respect them a lot because from a lot of people that ask to make cigar with me, they are like really, really, really careful about what they're bringing to their customers.
Hmm.
And I like that because that's the way I am. So I've been blessed to work with them, and and yeah, that Rodeo Clown cigar, I just love it. It's and that blend is for them only. The same
Yeah.
as Eric, the same as I don't use those blends for any of my cigars, any
Yeah.
of the future cigar. I respect the blend for them because that way I can protect them, and
Yeah.
they're protected with that type of cigar and flavor.
Yeah.
The only way to get it through them.
Yeah. So it's funny that you say that because so I was I interviewed Eric, and when he dropped the Cigar Clowns stick through their cigar society,
Mhm.
they released the Rodeo Clowns for their like monthly drop. Um, smoked the cigar you made. It was absolutely amazing. And I have a friend of mine that was able to send me one of your original test blends for that Rodeo Clown that's about 2 years old.
Yeah,
Um, and it was amazing to be able to smoke the original, or I should say, smoke the release.
the
Then
prototype.
yeah, a buddy of mine was able to send me one of the prototypes,
Yeah,
and then to re-smoke the new blend to see that
evolution.
the evolution of that cigar is absolutely fantastic. Um, they've had nothing but good things to say about it.
Yeah, and there's more Rodeo Clown coming to the market. They're
Yeah,
killing it. They're killing it. They're doing great.
yeah,
Actually, we're shipping another load soon to the States.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
But
and
they've been
like I
aging
said,
for years.
they did an amazing you did an amazing job on that blend, and it like I said, it really shows you really put that care and that time into the cigar and the evolution of that cigar. So so just off the cuff a little bit, I have a couple just extra questions. What does your own personal humidor look like? Like, what do you like to keep in your humidor? Like, if I were to go to your house, and you were to open your personal humidor, like, what do you have sitting in there right now? Like, what are some of your favorites?
I mean, I have several humidors. Let me say 80% of the humidors are filled with, projects with blend
Okay.
that I like to try and taste every 3 months, like I told you. And
Hmm.
um, and the rest 20%, I have, all the cigars that I buy from everybody else, that I like. For example, Padrones. I
Yeah.
love Padrones 1926. I love
Okay.
the blend. I have that blend in natural and Maduro. I like them both. Um, I have some Nick's cigars as well. I like the Tabernacle a lot.
Mhm.
I have some Steve Saka Mi Querida,
Okay.
the red band.
The Tricky Tracker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tiki Traca. Yeah, I love that cigar, and I keep them. I smoke them. And I like to uh, to to support the boutique brands. And
Yeah.
I mean, Padron is not a boutique brand anymore. But in terms of quality and the care and the passion they put in their products. I know Jorge. He's a great guy, and the model of business of Mr. Padron created was, a very successful model of business. They don't have any sales team. They don't have any brokers. The people is following lines,
Yeah.
to get their products. So that's very awesome. It's very hard to make. Very, very hard to make.
Yeah.
So I give a big credit to Mr. Jose Orlando and to all the Padron family that I really admire a lot. Them.
Where do you keep your humidity at in your humidors? I know a lot of people are like, there's always a big back and forth between people. Where do you keep your humidity at? You keep your humidity lower, you keep your humidity higher. Where are you at with your humidity in your humidors?
I mean, generally speaking, I like to keep them at 68 approximately.
Okay.
Generally speaking. But to be honest, I like certain type of cigar more humid than other ones. For
Okay.
example, my Connecticut, the Palomino, I like to
Yeah.
I like to smoke that cigar at 70, 72%.
Okay.
I think I can pull more sweetness and flavors out of that cigar. For example, in my San Andres, I like to
Yeah.
smoke with that 68, something around. So I have different humidities, set up for different type of cigar as I like them.
Okay.
But I've been testing my cigars over the edge, right? Sometimes I grab a bunch of all my cigars and put it in the car with no humidification,
Mhm.
under the 110 degrees or freezing cold, whatever, and I smoke them
Yeah.
to see how they perform on uneven conditions, right?
Yeah.
And I feel a lot of variations, but they perform good, even not at the point that they should be, the humidity level. So one thing that can happen is, in like now, like very hot and dry,
Yeah.
the Connecticut, wrappers, they're very thin, so they're not good idea to smoke them that dry. But
Mhm.
the more elastic wrapper and thicker, like the broadleaf, like the Maduros,
Mhm.
they withstand a little bit more. I don't encourage nobody to do it. I'm just telling you that I've been doing, crazy stuff inside my
Yeah.
product to try them because I know a lot of smokers, they don't, there's a lot of smokers that, most of them care a lot. I think they care way too much about the humidity more than the cigar itself sometimes. But there's like a 30% of cigar smokers that they don't care. They try the cigars in the glove box and
Yeah.
they live there like for 15 days and then grab it, they go golfing. So I
Mhm.
try that, just to see how my blends perform.
Now, what does the future hold for Stallone? Like, what are you looking forward to? Like down the line, like what is your uh what's your ultimate goal?
Well, like all cigar brand owners, my goal is to always grow bigger and and expand my brand uh, all over. We're now in 22 states in the U.S. and
Okay.
we're in 17 different countries around the world. But my ultimate goal is to become, one of the top boutique brands
Mm,
industry and conquer, a lot of, more states and more stores. Uh,
yeah.
but but I'm not crazy about being in every corner.
Yeah.
I like to have my cigars only at the stores that I can see they offer a good service to my customers, right?
Yeah.
So I rather, keep a store if I don't see that they have good, service with the customers than
Yeah.
just selling my cigars. So that's, in terms of time, isn't unpredictable because depends on too many things, on the economy and depends on the, on many factors, but I have my goal sets, and as I'm doing right now, I have reached my goals a little bit over that I was expecting it, so far. So I wish I can continue, developing my brand. God always first. He has the ultimate word.
Absolutely. And so what's coming down the pipeline? Is there anything you can give us anything you can give me or my viewers, like what's something we can look forward to from Stallone Cigars in the future?
Well, I'm gonna give you the headlines. I haven't talked about this because all the media, the magazine, like Cigar Aficionado and Half Wheel, and all those, they like to have the exclusivity of the information to display. But I'm gonna give you heads up. The cigar that I'm smoking right now
Yeah.
is a 6.5 by 52. Sorry, by 54.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Maduro wrapper, and it has a 7-year-old aged tobacco and rum cask. And
Okay. Wow.
yep, and it's a new project. It's only gonna come to the market only 300 boxes of 10 cigars each.
Wow.
And it's a new series. I have the Cowboy series, which is
Mm-hmm.
under production. So this is a new series related to horses as well, um,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and related to very famous horses of the history.
Okay.
We're gonna display that, later through the media. But I'm giving you the heads up that I'm gonna be releasing only 300 boxes every 4 months uh, for this new collection of cigars. It's what I call a super premium cigar.
Okay.
I call super premium, myself in my own system when I use, like very old tobacco aged in rum cask. It doesn't taste rum. It just takes the woodness of the cask, right?
Yeah.
So it's very hard to keep the tobacco in the rum cask, regarding the humidity levels, because the wood, absorbs a lot of humidity as well. So it's a
Yeah.
lot of job and a lot of work to do, and the tobaccos that I use are not easy to find in the market. Actually, is they are the last tobacco leaf that I have from that particular seed, from that particular soils, that I can find. So that's why I'm going to release this limited edition. And the concept, graphically, speaking, it's going to be different from the
Okay.
line. I'm very excited about it. I think I'm going to release them by the end of October or 1st of November this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say thank you for coming on. It's been such a pleasure to sit down and talk with you, um, because your line for me, I was able to find a couple in one of my local brick and mortars, uh, probably about just 20 minutes from my house. And Billy, the guy that is the down the street from me in Brick, he has really kind of embraced the Stallone brand, and I'm really looking forward to see what you come out with, and I'm looking to see your new project when it comes out. So I thank you for coming on and being able to take time out of your day and out of your busy schedule to kind of sit down and talk with me and my viewers.
It's my pleasure, Robert. You don't have to give any thanks because it's part of my life to share my passion with guys like you that helps developing a brand, because this is very important.
Yeah.
You're giving information to your viewers about, you know, brands, about product, about cigars, and you know, this is a win-win situation. And even if it's not a win situation for me, it's a pleasure, you know, because I always feel like I'm winning when I develop a new relationship, you know.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much, Robert, and thank you for all the viewers. And I hope you keep, you know, smoking good cigars. And if you haven't tried us, please go and try us. You know, we have a wide portfolio. We have a cigar for each kind of palettes. So I encourage you guys to try us and give it a, you know, a chance to make the way into your humidors.
Thank you so much, Tony.
Thank you, Robert.